Hey, what's going on? Oh, there we are. We're live. Hey, what's going on? Chris Akowski here from the emailcopywriter.com. So I'm about to work on a cart abandonment email sequence for a client, and I wanted to kind of just talk through some of the things that I'm going to be doing with that client. So, in case you are working on the conversions that you're making, because this, when you think about cart abandonment, out of all the different kinds of email sequences, out of all the different kinds of e-commerce email automations out there, cart abandonment is usually some of the lowest hanging fruit that you can get. Industry statistics say that like 70% of carts are abandoned. I mean, I've talked with people who have, as high as 99.5% of their carts being abandoned. And it's a huge problem because obviously if people are going all the way, to putting your products into their cart and they're like right at the 1 yard line and about to hit buy and then they don't, that's a problem. So, I wanted to share those 3 tips. So the first thing that you could do as you are writing the sequence, if you capture some of that revenue from a cart abandonment sequence, is have multiple emails. Now, this is something that it seems pretty obvious, but few has it, so they'll just have that one email go out, and that'll definitely work. It'll capture some sales, but it's kind of like the guys who did direct mail back in the old days. They would always do 3-step mailings. And they found that, yeah, they'd send that first direct mail letter out in the mail selling whatever they were trying to sell. But then when they followed up with the people who didn't buy a second time and they followed up a third time, they could double or even triple the amount of sales from those continuous follow-ups. So that principle isn't really any different in email. The more you follow up with people, the more sales you're going to make. And the cool thing about this is there's some companies out there that I've seen, like Bright Sellers is one of them, where I went through their funnel. I got to the point where I was like ready to, buy, and then I didn't because I wanted to see what happened. And they followed up with an email every single day for 6 months. It was like this epic 6-month cart abandonment sequence as a potential customer. But if you're just sending out that one email, just try adding a second and a third and watch what happens to your conversions. So the second thing to increase conversions with your cart abandonment email sequence is to have a negative consequence subject line. So I've seen many different types of subject lines. Sometimes they're super verbose, they're like 14 words long, and sometimes they kind of just give away the punchline of like what's in the email. And that can work also. I'm not saying that will never work, right? Because if you have something, it's better than having nothing, right? A certain percentage of people are going to open up every single email they get from you anyway, because that's just how they're wired. But if you really want to ratchet up your open rates and you want to ratchet up the effectiveness of your cart abandonment, then having what I call a negative consequence subject line, something like as simple as one I tried with my own list the other day. It wasn't a cart abandonment email, but I tried it out as a regular broadcast subject line, was uh-oh, dot, dot, dot. That was the entire subject line. It was uh-oh, dot, 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 and like all lowercase. So when you read that in your inbox, you're like, what happened? Like it brings you in with curiosity. You have to go in and see what it's all about, because it's like, uh-oh, did I do something wrong? Like, what happened? Is there an issue? Your brain kind of wants to resolve whatever that potential problem is. So you're going to open it. And then obviously the body copy of that email is going to explain, hey, it looks like you left something in your cart, and you can very easily tie that in. So that's the second tip, having a negative consequence subject line. So the third tip is really cool, and some people would never even think to do this, but one thing I think you should test is making your cart abandonment email look like a personal email. So sometimes what people will do is they'll have, they have for e-commerce companies, they'll have their branding, they'll have the border and their logo at the top and a big photo. And then for cart abandonment, they use that very same template, which I don't like those templates to begin with, but whatever, some people use them. I mean, that's fine. Personally, I wouldn't do it, but that's what some people do. But when they go and do their cart abandonment, they use that very same template. And so you have the big logo in the picture, and people open it up and they're like, oh, okay, this is an ad. This is trying to sell me something. And that's like their instant reaction. And then they bury the copy below it. But if you make your cart abandonment emails look like you, the owner of the company or the marketer or the person who's in charge of the sales in the company, if it looks like you dash that email off, like you've seen personal emails you get from a colleague or from a friend in Gmail, um, they don't have pictures, and maybe they'll include an attachment or something, or if it's pertinent to the conversation, they'll do it. But an email from a friend looks like an email. It's a few lines of text, a signature. And if you can make your cart abandonment emails look exactly like that, where it's just a few lines of text with some links, that's something that I think that if you test it out, it's going to really ratchet up your conversion. So there you go. Just to recap, the 3 things are having multiple follow-ups. So that's it. If you like this tip, if you like these 3 tips and you want to learn more about how to increase your revenue, increase your sales, increase your profits from email marketing for your e-commerce company, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this. And most importantly, get on my email list. I have a book. Here we go. Here it is. It's called Make It Rain, The Secret to Generating Massive Paydays from Your Email List. This book is awesome. It's super short. You can read it in the afternoon, and it's instantly going to make your emails better. All you got to do is go to www.themakeitrainbook.com. I'll have a link for that below. Click that button, click the link, download the book, get it, read it, and profit. All right, that's it. If you have any questions, comments, leave a comment for me below, and go make it rain. All right.